Good morning. Welcome back to our next session of the Global SU Share Fair. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia, and I'm the admin for the South Pacific region. There seems to have been a bit of confusion this morning about what time I was starting. We think that it's because one of the regions or time zones had a change in daylight savings time. Then we obviously didn't pick that up on the schedule, so apologies for that if you've been anxiously waiting for me to pop on for an hour, but we're back on track and here I am. So this is my project that we're going to make today. I've gone a bit rogue today because I've done something which we all don't seem to like to do. I've combined the Awash and Beauty DSP with the Artistically Inked bundle or stamp set, and we all seem to get stuck with the catalogue that you have to use whatever DSP and what's put together in the catalogue. You don't. You are allowed to go and do something different. And of course, we're now all waiting for the new catalogue. So we have piles of DSP and we can't wait for the new DSP, and that stash just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So here's something for you to dig into your stash and use it up. And what I realized this morning while I was busy playing around with something else is that this actually has a little pocket over there. So you could put a treat in here. I would suggest something flat, maybe like a bar of chocolate, or I haven't played with it because I just had this brainwave this morning. So you would need to play around and see what's going to fit. And then it opens up like that. So okay, it's not going to fit on my screen here, so but there you go. So you've got your notes where you can write everything in, and folds up easy. And what more could you ask for than a little surprise inside there? Now this is one of those things that looks complicated, but it's actually really easy to make. So let's get started. You're going to start with a piece of 11 by 11 inch DSP, which is 27.9 by 27.9 centimeters. Now this time around I'm actually finding it easier to work in inches just because I'm going to use my scoreboard rather than my trimmer. So I've got the measurements in centimeters, but it's easier to use the scoreboard. So right, now you need to decide which side you want for your front. Okay, so either that side or the reverse side. And when you're picking your DSP, make sure that you pick pieces that coordinate together. Sometimes the back and the front don't work so well together, so you want ones that actually work well together. And on this one I use the outside, well, the plainer side for my outside. I'm going to do it the other way around this time. I'm going to use the side for the outside. So we're going to start by folding our DSP corner to corner on the diagonal and have whichever side you want on the inside. Now it's not too serious at this stage, because if you decide you want it the other way, you can always just fold it in the other direction, and you want to try and work getting it as straight as you can, which is why I saw as I folded that it went crooked. So give it a press with your bone folder, because that normally stops it from moving too much. Okay, now we're going to do some scoring. Okay, so with my fold here along the left hand side of my scoreboard, I'm going to score this at sorry, I just can't see where I've written here, at 4¼ inches. Okay, so against the side we're scoring down here at, oops, if I can keep it straight, right, 4 1/4. And then I'm going to fold it back on those score lines. Now with my fold here across the top, let me just shift that down that you can actually see the top here, we're going to score at 3 1/4, 3 1/4, and 5 1/2. Now with the 5 1/2 you want to just go carefully because you're going across all the thicknesses over there, but I just find it easier to work with those triangles down. Okay, so all the way down, and then we're going to just flip it over and score on those same measurements again. So 3 1/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, and that's all our scoring done. Okay, so I see Shirley said intriguing. Well, this is one of those projects which, in my opinion, looks really complicated, but when you make it, it's actually not that complicated, but it's got that wow factor. Okay, so now on my sort of inner score line, I'm going to fold that in. And again, we're trying to keep it straight along the bottom. So give it a press with the bone folder. And then on the outer score line, we're folding out. And the same on the other side. So in on this side. And that's supposed to stay where it is. Out on that one. So we've got that meeting in the middle. Right. And just let's give all our creases a nice press. Now we're going to open this up, and what we want to do here, bend that, is make those sort of points or envelope shaped bits over here. So we're going to cut out our little triangles that we folded on these points. Okay. So we have 4 little triangles to cut out. Deep concentration for cutting. Okay, there we go. So now we've got that sort of funny shape, and folding it back together, leave those up for the moment. I think I've gone the other way this time, it doesn't matter. Now what I want to do is, if I bring this back in here, is make this little square bit on the front. So all that I'm going to do is flatten that triangle. Well, yeah, it was a triangle there, it's about to become a square. So if you find that it doesn't want to flatten nicely, just stick your finger into the bottom, and that will then just help it fold along. And we're going to just squish it. And we're doing the same on the other side. And it seems like there's always one that wants to fold very happily and the other one needs a bit of help, but that's okay. And then that flap is going to, got a nice crease line there, tuck into there, and that bit folds back, and you've got that envelope looking thing. Now if you want to, you can put a glue dot on the back here and glue that down. The only thing is that if you glued it, when you open it up, it's going to open like that, and for whatever bizarre reason I actually like it where it flaps up, so I don't glue it down, but if you want to, go for it. Right, now that we've done that, we're ready to do our stamping and some decorating. So I'll leave that kind of like that. Hopefully you can still see that so that you can see what I'm doing. Now, like I said, I'm using the Artistically Inked stamp set, and I'm going to use the die that matches that rose. You could decorate as much or as little as you want. For me, that was enough. So let's grab this in and do our stamping. Okay, so change the colors slightly because my paper is a bit of a different color there. So this time around I'm going to use Calypso Coral for my big roses. So we're going to stamp those into the corners. And actually, before I keep going with that, I want to stamp my sentiment, because then you can just make sure that you're stamping around the sentiment. I just want to double check here because the one side is slightly longer than the other side, so you want your longer side to be going that way. So let's grab my sentiment here, and this time I'm stamping it with the black Memento, and we're going to hope I'm stamping it straight. So you could have stamped the sentiment first. I just like it in before I stamp all my other stuff, because otherwise I'm not going to leave the correct gap for it. Okay, not too bad. Got that kind of straight. And while I'm still stamping my roses, we're going to stamp just one more, which I've already done in advance, but we'll do it here as well. One on a piece of scrap paper, which we're going to die cut to go on the front of our card. And magically, there we go. It's all die cut. And then I'm just looking at what I've done here because I can't remember, and not that it really matters, but I find if I do things on the fly, then I tend to get myself completely confused and in a tiz. So we're going to take Merry Merlot for the smaller roses. And here I'm just randomly stamping. There's no design or thought going into anything here. It's just wherever things are landing. And let's pull in my little one. This one maybe needs a little bit more thought to it because we're going to stamp we're going to stick the bigger rose in the middle. So I just need to make sure that we've got things sitting around it. That looks good to me. Our group of flowers, I'm going to stamp in Blushing Bride. Just wherever I find some space. Oops, double stamp that one, but nobody's going to notice. And lastly, we want some leaves because we need some greenery going on here. And I'm using Granny Apple Green for that one. And those I'm just going to fit in wherever I find a gap. And we want some green on the little bit as well. We can always add some more if we need to, but I think that should be fine. Let's stick my rose onto the front. Now remember, when we're sticking this, it's going to be at a diagonal. With this, it doesn't really matter because, you know, the flowers don't have to have a right or a wrong side, but if you've got something that needs a this way up, then just be sure that you're sticking it on the right point. Okay. I've got a piece of DSP which I'm going to stick on the bottom, and there you go. Make sure that you've got your piece of paper facing the right way, because like I said, one side's slightly longer than the other, so we just want it going the right way. There we go. Now can come back here. So this piece is going to go onto the front, onto my little pocket. So it doesn't matter which one goes on top. You can have it flipping either way, it doesn't matter. I just, for whatever reason, want that one on top, so we're going to stick my flower. Maybe I don't want it that way, maybe I want it that way. Okay. And then if you want it the other way around, you can use it the other way around, but we're going to put our decorated piece on the top here. And our bit for writing the note underneath. Ooh, and it looks like I got that wrong. I used one the one way and one the other way. Okay, well, I'm going to turn this just because I think that it actually looks better. I obviously measured that one wrong. So this one's got the DSP down the side instead of on the bottom. But hey, that's how you correct mistakes. There's no mistakes. Everything just gets fixed. And then we can fold it back up again. So this time we know that that side's going there because that's my front. That goes down. And there we go, ready for a little treat inside it. And it's actually quite fun folding them up once you get going. There we go, same pack of DSP, just in the different colors, and done. So like I said, these look quite complicated, but you'll find that once you start making it, it's actually really easy, and they're quite fun to make. I'm going to have a shot at actually making them smaller, so you could have a little treat inside it instead of a big one, but I only started playing with that this morning, so that's still to come.